There are so many fun ways to cook potatoes, and I thought, what the heck, let's do a couple of videos on them. So today, let's do Hasselback potatoes and double baked. Some people call it twice baked, whatever works. Let's start with Hasselback, shall we? Now, where does the word Hasselback come from? Some hotel, I think, in Germany. Anyhow, you're going to have a good solid board and a couple of wooden spoons. And you'll see why in a second. Hasselback is a potato that is sliced about 1/4 of an inch all the way down, but not all the way through. And you're going to put your potato right in the middle. Now with a sharp knife, start at one end and watch me here. I would just straight down, stop. Straight down, stop. The idea is to have just as many slots as you possibly can. As you can see, I'm starting to cut down the potato about 1/4 of an inch. See there? And I will continue with the rest of the potato. Isn't that the coolest? That's a Hasselback. I should have told you what I'm using is a russet potato. I think sometimes they're called baked. What we're going to need for our Hasselback to make it delicious is some ingredients we're going to end up brushing on the inside of this sucker. So let's start off with 4 tablespoons of butter here. Great. I'm going to melt that in the micro and be right back. I'm going to add some parsley. Take a couple of pieces of parsley, okay? What I like to do with my herbs is I like to roll them up, all right? Roll them up. I think it makes it easier for chopping. Then in a round action, watch me, round action. See, away and round, cool, right? I got 3 tablespoons. I'm going to chop it up really fine. Perfect, in she goes. I am going to add to that, I've got some chives from my garden, all washed up of course. And I'm going to add about, let's give it about a tablespoon, okay? Lovely. There we go. These are my Hasselbacks. They're like, what do you call it? Accordion. I've got myself a baking sheet, and I'm just going to give it a little spray. Going to put my Hasselbacks right on there. Going to stir this up, but first, I forgot the salt and pepper. How much salt? Let's do 2 pinches. And I'm using kosher salt because I like the crunch. And a generous amount of ground pepper. How much? Probably 1/2 teaspoon. I'm gonna stir it together. Doesn't that look super? Then what I'm going to do is I am going to start at one end, opening up these little crevices. I'm just going to start putting my spices in my butter right inside. You are never going to want to eat a baked potato just plain again. You get the idea. I'm going to finish the other one and I'll be right back. Inside. Oh my golly, look at that. Let's put that aside up here. Because both the Hasselbacks and the baked potatoes are going to be cooked in the oven at 425 for about the same amount of time, I'm going to put them on the same sheet. Now, I've cleaned these like I should have told you in the first place and dried them. Now I'm just going to teach you another little kitchen hack about baked potatoes. You probably already know this, but maybe a few that don't. Pierce it. In addition to that, another little kitchen hack is get one of these spears. I use those for darning up the carcass of the turkey. Put that right inside. See that? Right inside your potato. That little piece of metal in there is going to be a heat conductor. That's right. It's going to get hot here on the outside, and that's going to allow the heat to come right through the potato. Cool, right? Some people say that that allows the potato to only cook for, let's say, 30 minutes. Let's give it a try and see what happens. Hey, even better, why don't we try one with one and one without and see if it's a hoax or not. I'm just gonna put those guys down like that. I'm gonna pop these both in the oven at 425. I'm gonna check this sucker in about 30 minutes and see if he's done. Otherwise, they're both gonna go in the oven for about, let's say 45 minutes. These have already been in the oven for about 35 minutes, and you can see already how this wonderful Hasselback is just already separating. Isn't that beautiful? Now over here, let's do our little experiment. Okay, I've already tried to poke this one, and yeah, it's going through. But as you can see, I tried to poke that one, but you know what? Look at that. This is really going through quite easily. So, well, it's not what they call a kitchen myth. That really does work. Now that I've got these suckers out, let's baste them a bit more. There we go. Back in the oven she goes. Looking good, right? While those potatoes are cooking, I thought, what the heck, let's whip up our ingredients for our double baked potatoes. And this is the star of that potato. You can call them twice baked. I think that's also a very popular name. I've got about half a cup of sour cream in here. To that I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter. I've got 3 green onions. I've got half a cup of cheddar cheese grated. You see where I'm going, don't you? You bet. My hands are clean, always. Let's go a pinch of salt. I've got cheese in there already, so there is enough salt. Pepper. I love lots of pepper on my potatoes, so I'm going to give it a generous half a teaspoon. Now, bacon. How much? I'd love to say the whole much, but you know what? Generous 1/4 cup. Okay. Let's go see how the potatoes are doing, shall we? Just taking the baked potatoes out of the oven. This one little sucker here with the heat conductor, I took him out in about 35 minutes. He was cooked, so that does work. This little baby took me about 50 minutes to cook him, so you may want to try that little, you know, little prick thing in your potato once in a while. Okay, let's hot. Let's take that out. What we're going to do now is cut the potato in half. Just going to cut them down the middle. No biggie, you've done it before. Oh, it's nice and tender. Nice and tender. That one is the heat conductor, and he's cooked through and through. This little baby here. Okay, perfect. What I'm going to do, because it's too hot right now to handle, is I'm going to let it cool for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and scoop the pulp out, and then we'll go from there. You're not going to perforate the skin at the back, okay? You're just going to get as much out as you can without cutting the back skin. Let's mix together all that goodness that we were making while the potatoes were cooking. I'm going to recommend what you do is use a good sized bowl, so you don't have to put up with this shit. You don't really have to go crazy on the mixing. It's got beautiful little potato lumps in there. I'm going to give it a little swirly gig of salt. I mentioned I love pepper, so I can't get enough pepper on my potatoes. And why not some more sour cream? Let's fill in our potatoes. Just like that. See? It's easy. I'm just going to put 1 layer in right now to make sure I have enough for all of them. I'm sure I do. All right, let's get every piece of that goodness. Beautiful. This was the baking tray that I used in the first place. Yes, it's got some baked butter on there. Absolutely. Let's put our babies back on the tray. I'm going to put some cheese on top of it. And of course, what baked potato wouldn't be complete without more bacon? Let's pop that in the oven. 10 more minutes ought to do it. Why make a baked potato when you can do something like this, right? Now you're saying, oh, that's lovely, I'm done. No, you're not. You put a dollop of sour cream on it, just like you would a baked potato. Little green onion, right? Of course, bacon, and voila. This one is for the diet guy. This one is for the guy who really likes to take it over the top. Okay, those are my Hasselback potatoes. Let's go get the double baked, shall we? This is my double baked, twice baked, somebody baked potatoes. I am smelling the sweetness of the potato. The butter is just crazy. The bacon is saying, holy smokes, baby, eat me. Do I need to do anything else with these blessed creatures? I think not. I think perhaps we're gonna hunker down right now and eat these without any other thing. Try it. Like I said, I'm gonna make a couple of episodes on potatoes alone. I hope you feel that if this is just the beginning to the grand finale, then you're in for a wonderful surprise.